Hello, it's Classy here, back with another Tribes video, and as you all know, today they released the new update with a new banner featuring the first and second Hokage, and also a mission assistance event. So we're going to take a look at both of those, but let's take a look at the mission assistance event first. Basically, whenever you spend stamina, you have a chance to receive these coins that you can spend in a special shop that's here for 16 days. This is very similar to SR Heavy and other events. So make sure to use the same stamina tips as before. Make sure to try to spend 150 Shino coins to refresh your stamina every day. At least, if you're like a whale or you have more Shino coins, you can think about doing other methods, but you can also use your stamina bentos that you should be saving up for events like these in the first place. So once you get all of these red coins from spending stamina, what should you do with them? In the shop, you can see that there are Naruto frags, and he's not really that good at all. Besides, most veteran players already have him nearly maxed out just because he's had events in the past. So I don't really recommend spending your red coins on him. Instead, I'd recommend spending them on the Awakening Scroll prize box and the Awakening Talisman prize box. Basically, these are what we call Awakening Scrolls and Talismans, and you can use them for any unit that you want, and it will give them a pretty significant power boost. And the reason why I suggest buying these is because they are the rarest item in the shop, so it's a really nice opportunity, because it's hard to get these through other methods in the game, especially if you don't spend any money in the game. So that's what I'm probably going to be doing, just repeatedly buying scrolls and talismans. Hopefully I can get 5 of each by the end of the event, and I'll show you guys how to use these. So these are boxes, and when you open them, you can select whatever attribute you want for your scroll or talisman. So let me just give an example. If we go to Kid Naruto, we go to his scrolls, we can see in the awakening page that he uses the bravery scroll. So if you wanted to awaken Kid Naruto, let's say, to get these increases in HP and attack, which gives a lot of power, then you want to open the box and then select the bravery scroll. Same thing for the talisman. You open the box, you select the bravery talisman. Now for other characters, let's say KCM, oh, he uses the same one, but Seimu Jiraiya, also the same one. Interesting. Alright, there we go. Mangekyo Kakashi uses endurance. These are just examples of the different attribute scrolls and talismans. So just make sure you select the right one, and they should be really helpful in increasing the power of your best units. So that's basically it. Just keep buying those. Awakening orbs you can also grab if you maybe don't need so many scrolls and talismans, but these are easier to get because you can get them through ATB, Ninja World Tournament, and some other methods. So I still think they're not as rare as the talismans and scrolls are. That's about it for my tips for this specific mission assistance. Now we're going to go on to the banner itself. So you've already seen my summon videos, so I don't have Hashirama, unfortunately, but that's okay, because I can still show you guys his stats and kit through the game itself. If you go to Shinobi Details on the summon page, they give you all the details. So here we go. Here are the arts. I think both of these guys have pretty good arts. Top tier, but definitely not the highest tier. Here we go. Hashirama is a URT unit. His jutsu is the Deep Forest Bloom. Deals single target power creep damage with 52% extra damage if his HP is under 50%. he increases the ally tribe gauge by 30 on the next turn, lowers all enemies' attack and damage reduction rate by 13%. So I think this jutsu is decent, but it's definitely not the best one. There are T units with better jutsus than this, but I like the tribe gauge increase because it promotes different kinds of team building in the game, and the game is called Ninja Tribes, so using tribes in PvE is very common, so having a unit like him is always useful. The debuff is not that good. I've definitely seen better, but it's not bad either. And the extra 50% damage is quite a lot, actually, but it's not always guaranteed, so that's the issue with that. It's kind of random whether or not he survives, whether or not he gets hit below 50%. That's about it. For his skill 2, he deals skill 2 damage and increases his chakra by 3,400, so that's pretty useful because we'll talk about his vitality later, but it just helps him jutsu more often, and that's kind of like the most important part about this character. Like for any character really, you always want them to jutsu if possible, besides like specific skill 2s that are really, really good. And yeah, I will talk about why he needs some extra chakra because of his vitality later on. For skill 4, he'll boost all active allies' damage increase rate by 17% if he's active at the start of the turn, and all active allies' damage reduction rate by 20% if he is active at the start of the turn. So this is definitely not one of the best skill 4s. It only affects the active allies, and it only triggers when he's rotating in. So it kind of reminds me of some of the older units, and that's not good because nowadays we have a lot of units with really strong skill 4s. So this is not bad at all, but it definitely could be better. And damage increase rate and damage reduction rate is always useful to increase, especially if it's like above 15%, which is what he does. And these don't last for the rest of the battle either, so just keep that in mind. It will make him not as good. Now onto his vitality. It's the 3-chain attack, and that's not a very good vitality. It's hard to consistently get chakra, which is why I mentioned the skill 2 earlier. But it's probably one of the weaker vitalities, if not the weakest one. And yeah, that definitely brings him down as a character as well. So that's kind of unfortunate that this is the unit for Hashirama, who is like a super legendary shinobi, and he also isn't even the free unit. So we'll see later on that the free unit in fact might be better than he is, which is kind of disappointing as well. But hey, if you're free to play, you don't even need a summon because you can get the really strong free unit and you don't have to worry about this character that much. He's definitely not bad, but it's not necessarily worth pulling for if you're like a free to play. And yeah, that's about it. So it's a pretty decent T unit, I'd say. Now for Tobirama, he is a URA unit, and he is free in the shop, so make sure to grab him anyways, even if he wasn't good, but he actually will be good. Let's take a look at why this is. For his jutsu, he boosts his own critical rate first by 42%, which is a really high amount, so he'll be critting with this jutsu every time. And why is this important? It's because he does AoE damage, so that outputs even more damage than just a single target crit rate booster. So that's awesome. And then he actually deals 31% extra damage to T units, which is also really awesome because people do like using T units in arena and PvP, but you also meet a lot of T units in PvE. So he'll be doing extra damage, getting rid of those T units for you, like Sai, for example. So you can get rid of the enemy support. Then you boost. Then he'll boost all allies' critical rate by 21%. And critical damage increase rate by 21%. So both of these boosts are really high as well, and it affects all allies and their critical stats, including critical damage increase rate, which is pretty rare to boost among the units kits. So this is already a really great jutsu and a really great unit. Now for his skill 2, he does skill 2 damage. He'll lower damage increase rate by 7.5% for all enemy tactical shinobi for the rest of the battle. So this is actually really good because it lasts for the rest of the battle, and it's kind of like it makes the T units weaker, which is kind of rare for an A unit. Usually the A units have skill 2s that just boost their own stats. So the fact that his skill 2 actually affects a lot of the enemies on the enemy team is actually really awesome. For his skill 4, he'll boost all active allies' attack by 13% if he's active at the start of the turn, lower his damage reduction rate by 11% for all enemy tactical shinobi for the rest of the battle. So the attack boost, it's decent, but it's not the best one. There are better skill 4s on A units that boost attack, but I like the damage reduction rate decrease also for tactical shinobi because it lasts for the rest of the battle. It affects all of them. So this unit is really meant to take out T teams or teams with a lot of T units. And keep in mind that Sai is a T unit, so you'll pretty much always have a use for this guy on PvP related things. And for PvE, you can really choose which units to use against the opponents. So if there's a T unit, then pop this guy in and he'll help you a lot. So I really like this character actually. It's not necessarily like a super OP KCM level character, but has a lot of use against a specific type of opponent. And you know what's even better? His vitality is not necessarily like the OP 5k initial vitality, but it's not very bad either. This is a pretty stable source of chakra for units, so it's definitely not as bad as the 3-chain attack one. And I'm glad that he gets a pretty decent vitality to match, because if he had a bad vitality, that'd just make this character not as good. But now he has good jutsu, he has a good like skill 4 and skill 2 combination, and he also has a decent vitality, making this character pretty worth. So, and he's free, so you should just grab him from the shop, get him to 5 stars for free, and yeah, you can definitely use him. Overall, my thoughts on this banner, not that good actually. I was expecting more. Now that I really take a look in depth at both the units, I'm kind of disappointed for Hashirama. Tobirama, I think, was done pretty decent justice. And we can also take a look at the tribe specials. So this is a 2-man, so not really that important, but it lowers all enemies' guard rate by 18% for the rest of the battle, deals single target damage, increases all allies' chakra by 2500, boosts all allies' guard rate by 20% for the rest of the battle, boosts all allies' guard damage reduction rate by 22% for the rest of the battle. So this is actually pretty good for a skill for a 2-man tribe, but it's a 2-man tribe, so it doesn't really matter that much. But yeah, it's pretty good. Lots of defense and chakra gain. And I believe there's actually a pretty good tribe that they released. It's one that involves the 3 Hokage. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Here we go. So this is a 3-man with Hiruzen, and it deals single target damage, 25% extra damage when attacking first, which is pretty guaranteed. Everyone's pretty fast now against PvE opponents, so you'll pretty much always get that extra damage, which is a good amount. It will lower the target's damage reduction rate by 37% for the rest of the battle, which is useful because if you don't kill him, you can definitely finish him off pretty easily later. Let's say there's like a high value target for, I don't know, Abyss, like Mei, you can definitely take her out quicker. Quicker with this. And boost all allies' damage increase rate by 20% for the rest of the battle, and all allies' critical rate by 30% for the rest of the battle. So these are really good boosts. It affects all allies and it's permanent. So I really like this tribe. But the issue is it uses Hiruzen, and a lot of us haven't built him up. So if you already have tribes that you've been using and you've been upgrading a lot, then I don't really see a reason that you need to use this necessarily. But if you want to, it's definitely good. So yeah, those are my quick thoughts on this banner. I'll be doing showcases for units, and I still need to get to Boruto, so I'll be doing that. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and learned something. And I also have a really big project coming soon, so keep an eye out for that. Thanks for watching.